aliens believed they were the first space empire until they found humans. HFY Story. Prologue: A Legacy Forgotten. The Azkaran Empire was a monolithic power, its dominion stretching over half the galaxy. Its rulers, sleek reptilian beings with scales that shimmered in hues of emerald and gold, believed they were the architects of civilization itself. Their fleets of razor-sharp starships patrolled the hyperspace lanes, ensuring compliance among the member species of the Galactic Federation. For millennia, the Azkarans had maintained their narrative. They were the galaxy's first explorers, its rightful rulers. But beneath their polished veneer lay an empire on edge. The Azkarans' expansion had slowed, their borders choked by resistance from restless Federation species. Trade routes grew dangerous, and rumors of shadowy raids on outposts spread like wildfire. High Chancellor Virek, the Empire's stern leader, dismissed such reports as fear-mongering. Yet, unease crept into the grand halls of Zakal, the Azkaran capital. The discovery on Gorath Prime changed everything. The desolate world had been a mere footnote in the Empire's expansion logs. Its volatile atmosphere and jagged terrain made it unsuitable for colonization. Yet, beneath its surface lay ruins that defied comprehension. A towering black monolith, untouched by time, stood in the heart of a cavernous city. The intricate carvings on its surface bore no resemblance to the art of any known species. But it was the inscription at its base that sent shockwaves through the Azkaran hierarchy: Humanity the First. When a dormant beacon activated, broadcasting a cryptic message in an unknown dialect, the tension in the Imperial chambers reached a breaking point. High Commander Virek, a battle-hardened officer known for his tactical brilliance, was summoned to lead an expedition into the uncharted sectors surrounding Gorath Prime. His orders were clear: find out who or what this humanity was, and eliminate any potential threat. Chapter 1: A Ruined Monument. The excavation site on Gorath Prime was a scene of organized chaos. The Empire's top archaeologists and scientists worked tirelessly, their exosuits shielding them from the planet's corrosive winds. The monolith loomed above them, an enigma that seemed to mock the Azkaran sense of superiority. Verb. Arrived aboard his flagship, the Glorious Triumph. The ship's design, all sharp angles and gleaming surfaces, reflected the Empire's philosophy: efficient, unyielding, and intimidating. As he descended into the cavern, his officers fell silent. Even the seasoned commander felt a chill as he observed the monolith. "Status report," Virek demanded. Lethis, the lead archaeologist, stepped forward. Her usually composed demeanor was strained. "High Commander, this structure is alien. Its materials, its inscriptions, none of it aligns with any Federation species. And this beacon," she gestured toward a glowing console embedded in the ground, "it's transmitting a signal. Coordinates with any transmitting of messages or reaches from any console in the galaxy to report." Virek studied the holographic projection. The coordinates led deep into the Zenthara Nebula, a hazardous expanse infamous for its ion storms. The implications were clear. Whoever built this monument hadn't just existed. They had traveled vast distances, and if they still existed, they were hiding. "We move at once," Virek said, his voice sharp. "Prepare the fleet." As the Glorious Triumph ascended into orbit, the excavation site fell eerily silent. The monolith, as if aware of its observer's departure, emitted a low hum. No one noticed as a faint, holographic figure appeared briefly at its base, a human silhouette, watching. Chapter 2: First Contact. The Xanthara Nebula was a natural barrier, its swirling clouds of ionized gas making navigation treacherous. The Azkaran fleet, comprising 20 warships, entered the nebula with caution. Virek stood on the bridge of his flagship, his eyes fixed on the shifting void. "Maintain formation," he ordered. "Keep all sensors active. I want no surprises." The silence was oppressive, broken only by the occasional static from the fleet's comms. Then the anomaly appeared. A faint blip on the sensors, barely distinguishable from the nebula's interference. A single ship emerged from the mists, the Dauntless. Its design was rugged and utilitarian, a stark contrast to the sleek elegance of Azkaran vessels. Yet there was something about it, a weight, a history, that made it feel like more than just a ship. Its hull bore scars of countless battles, and its engines emitted a steady, unyielding hum. "Identify yourselves," Virek commanded. The response was chillingly brief: "Leave!" Before Virek could react, the Dauntless opened fire. Railgun slugs tore through the shields of an Azkaran frigate, reducing it to debris. Plasma torpedoes followed, striking with surgical precision. The Azkaran returned fire, but the human ship moved with precision, anticipating their every maneuver. "High Commander, we're outmatched," an officer shouted. Virek clenched his fists. For the first time in his career, he gave the order to retreat. As the fleet withdrew, the Dauntless remained motionless, its presence a silent warning. Chapter 3: Humanity's Legacy. The aftermath of the encounter sent shockwaves through the Empire. High Chancellor Zarek summoned Virek to the Grand Council chambers, his expression a mask of barely contained fury. "You fled from a single ship," Zarek hissed. "Explain yourself." Virek stood his ground. That ship was no ordinary vessel. Its technology, its tactics, they were beyond anything we've encountered. This humanity is not a relic of the past. They are prepared. The council erupted in heated debate. Some dismissed humanity as a fringe threat, a minor inconvenience to be crushed. Others, swayed by the footage of the battle, recognized the danger. Meanwhile, on the human flagship, Eternal Resolve, Admiral Catherine Holt reviewed the same footage. A stoic and pragmatic leader, Holt had spent decades preparing humanity for this moment. The Terran Dominion's collapse centuries ago had forced them into hiding, but they had rebuilt, evolving in secret. "The Azkarans think they've seen our strength," Holt said to her officers. "They haven't seen anything yet." Chapter 4: The Terran Vanguard. The Terran Vanguard was humanity's answer to extinction. Over centuries of hiding in the shadows, humanity had honed its tactics, engineering, and military philosophy. While the Azkarans relied on their massive fleets and structured battle formations, the Vanguard embraced unpredictability. Each ship was designed with a dual purpose: adaptability and lethality. Admiral Catherine Holt, commanding from the Eternal Resolve, stood on the bridge as her fleet prepared to intercept an Azkaran convoy in the Perseus Arm. The convoy, laden with weapons and supplies, was guarded by a formidable escort of Azkaran warships, led by Commander Lisak, a protege of Virek known for his ruthless efficiency. Holt's orders were concise but deliberate. Deploy stealth corvettes along the convoy's flanks, I want those supplies untouched, but leave the escorts in pieces." The Terran fleet moved like ghosts. The stealth corvettes cloaked themselves in the dense asteroid field surrounding the convoy, their signatures hidden by the debris. As the convoy entered the trap, the corvettes struck. Railguns and EMP warheads targeted the escort's propulsion systems, leaving them immobilized. Commander Lisak barked orders from his bridge, his serpentine eyes narrowing as he scanned the battlefield. "Reinforce the perimeter, they're exploiting our flanks." But the humans were already 2 steps ahead. The Eternal Resolve unleashed a coordinated barrage from its railguns, punching through the lead Azkaran frigate. Fighters swarmed the remaining ships, targeting weak points with precision. Amid the chaos, Holt monitored the unfolding battle with measured calm. "Begin salvage operations," she ordered. "Take what we need and leave nothing for the Azkarans." As the convoy burned, the Terran fleet vanished back into the void, leaving behind a stark message. Humanity was no longer content to defend. They were taking the fight to their oppressors. Chapter 5. The Federation Fractures. The Galactic Federation, a bureaucratic construct long dominated by the Azkaran Empire, began to splinter under the strain of rebellion. The Makari, an industrious species of engineers with translucent crystalline bodies, declared open defiance against the Azkarans. Their leader, Arch-Engineer Cathar, announced their allegiance to humanity. "The Terrans fight not for conquest," Cathar declared during a broadcast. "They fight for the future. The Makari stand with them." The Tarvani, amphibious beings known for their expertise in guerrilla warfare, followed suit. Their homeworld, an oceanic planet dotted with underwater metropolises, became a critical staging ground for Alliance operations. Commander Tellus of the Tharvani led daring raids on Azkaran shipyards, crippling their production capabilities. On Aeolian Prime, the Federation's capital world, a clandestine meeting took place. Representatives from the Makari, Tharvani, and other disillusioned species gathered under the protection of the Terran vanguard. Admiral Holt, flanked by her advisors, addressed the assembly. "We share a common enemy," Holt began, her voice steady but commanding. "The Azkarans rule through fear and division. Humanity knows what it means to face extinction, and we refuse to let it happen to anyone else." The room fell silent as Arch-Engineer Cathar stepped forward. "The Makari have endured Azkaran tyranny for centuries. With humanity, we see a chance for freedom." The Alliance was officially formed that day, its members vowing to dismantle the Azkaran Empire. Meanwhile, High Commander Virek, disillusioned by the Council's arrogance, began to question his loyalty. Reports of humanity's resilience and the Alliance's growing strength reached him, and for the first time, he considered the unthinkable: betrayal. Chapter 6. Humanity's Ascension. The Alliance launched its final campaign against the Azkaran Empire, targeting Zakal, the heart of their dominion. The fleet assembled for the assault was unprecedented in scale. Terran battlecruisers, Makari disruptor frigates, Tharvani aquatic strike ships, and rebel Azkaran warships converged in a show of unity and defiance. Admiral Holt stood on the bridge of the Eternal Resolve, her eyes fixed on the holographic projection of Zakal's defenses. "The Azkarans believe their capital is impenetrable," she said. "Let's show them how wrong they are." High Commander Virek, having defected to the Alliance, provided critical intelligence. Their orbital stations are heavily shielded, but rely on centralized power generators. Disable those and the entire defense grid will collapse. The battle began with a coordinated assault on Zakal's orbital defenses. Alliance fighters swarmed the Azkarian stations, deploying EMP charges to disable their weaponry. Makari frigates targeted the power generators, their disruptor beams cutting through shields with surgical precision. The Eternal Resolve led the charge against the Azkaran fleet, its railguns firing in synchronized volleys. Holt's calm commands guided the Alliance forces, their maneuvers outpacing the Empire's rigid formations. On the surface, Alliance ground forces stormed Zekal's capital. Captain Mira Solis, leading a contingent of Terran Marines, spearheaded the assault on the council chambers. The fighting was brutal, with Azkaran defenders using their intimate knowledge of the city's labyrinthine layout to their advantage. Solis, armed with experimental exo-armor, pushed forward despite heavy resistance. "They're falling back," she shouted to her team. "Keep the pressure on." Inside the council chambers, High Chancellor Zarek refused to surrender. Virek, standing beside Holt, confronted his former superior. "You could have prevented this," Virek said, his voice laced with regret. Zarek sneered. "You've traded loyalty for defeat. The Askarans will rise again." Holt stepped forward, her gaze unyielding. "Not while humanity stands." Epilogue: A New Dawn. The fall of the Azkaran Empire marked the beginning of a new era. The Alliance, now a beacon of cooperation and resilience, established a galactic council to govern the newly liberated territories. Humanity, once a forgotten remnant, became a symbol of hope and perseverance. Admiral Holt addressed the galaxy from the steps of Zekal's former council chambers. "Today we stand united," she declared, "not as conquerors, but as builders of a brighter future. Together, we will ensure that no species suffers under tyranny again." High Commander Virek, now a trusted advisor to the Alliance, reflected on the choices that had brought him here. For the first time in his life, he felt a sense of purpose beyond duty to the Empire. On Gorith Prime, the ancient monolith remained, its enigmatic message now a testament to humanity's journey. Scholars from across the galaxy studied its inscriptions, piecing together fragments of the Terran Dominion's history. For humanity, it was a reminder of their past and a promise for the future. As the galaxy rebuilt, one truth became clear. The Askarans had believed themselves to be the first empire, but humanity had been there all along, and they weren't going anywhere.